Welcome back to Fourth and Fantasy. Tonight, the radar is going off. We aren't just looking for rookies. We are hunting for the six Dragon Balls of the 2026 rookie class. The prospects with the power to grant you a championship wish. Joining us to scan the field, the man himself from the FF universe, SC Romero.
Let's
We
go,
got the
baby.
names, the schools, and the power levels you need to know. Let's get to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't follow no script. I make my own lane. Got a spreadsheet mind and a red brass brain. Dynasty beats got that tape in my veins. While they drafting by names, I'm exposing their game. No cap. We study the craft like film room rats. Gyms in the fourth while they stuck in the past. It's levels to the dynasty keep or flex. From rookies to pros, we demanding respect. That's real. And I ain't never need clout for my clout to show. Just a mic I take and a team I grow. This ain't just picks, it's principle G. It's fourth and fantasy where you build your legacy.
Yeah. We're 10 toes down and we
Oh
stand
yeah.
on facts. We're fourth in fantasy. Welcome back. I am Hancho, and this is my guy.
Siriaco, call me Rocco.
And as I stated in the intro, we have a special guest tonight, SC Romero from the
Yes, sir.
FF universe. How are we feeling tonight, my guy?
Doing good, man. I know I helped with that intro, but man, I feel like that LeBron you put your feet down and all that, man. But nah, excited to be on here, man. Y'all are some sickos, as y'all say in the intro, and let's talk some ball, man. I'm stoked to be here, first show of 2026, and might as well kick it off with a bang with some Dynasty sickos, man. So appreciate y'all having me on here.
I appreciate you being on. And if you haven't got the theme or from the thumbnail, we are tracking down six Dragon Balls of the 2026 rookie draft. SC's top six prospects that you need to be trying to acquire and get on your teams this off season. Hey, what made you when you were trying to come up with this list? What made you select these guys for your top six?
I mean, you got some ballers, and then you just got some guys that you know they're gonna get that good draft capital. We'll talk about one of them in a little bit. That I'm not necessarily on, but when I talk about these rookie picks and stuff, you got to go with consensus and what they have. It might not be where I would go necessarily, but when you're in your leagues, if consensus is saying that you can't overshoot in the first round, that's where you take the shots in second, third round. First round, you gotta kind of go with what it's there. And
Mhm.
people at Genty at 101, I would have taken Quinshon. You know what I mean? But if you have the 101, you take Genty because that's what everyone's doing, and you gotta get on that. So similar things here with some players, but I mean, there's some ballers nonetheless. So some of the guys still in the playoffs, and some have some good tape. You gotta watch the tape, and these guys are the ones that put it on tape for sure.
Hell yeah, man. And before we get into the nitty gritty, what excites you about this part of the year when you're getting into knowing these draft prospects, trying to figure out kind of how you're going to play it by ear, first round, second round, third
Mm,
round. Some rookie drafts got fourth rounds. Anything above that
yeah,
is almost crazy. Any
right.
rookie draft that's 5 rounds, 6 rounds needs to be absolutely put in prison. But
The
I'll
IDP,
say IDP.
is the only place that should have a fifth, sixth round. Other than that, it's like not.
yeah, you're pushing
I
it
mean,
for me.
I'm in a
It's not.
C2C IDP, man, and I got Ruben Baines just sitting there ready to come up. So I'm excited for him to come up. But what gets me excited, man, is as you know, me and my co-host Spencer, Buckwild Sports of the Devi Planet, we do this all year. We talk about college players. So this is actually put in our money where our mouth is, right? Because we're out here doing it and saying, like, look, these are guys that we've been betting on all year, whether it be these
Mhm.
top six guys we talk about, or we're talking about these third round steals that we're getting out as well. This is where we can really shine and say, look, man, we've been talking about this guy. Like, I know Dynasty, you have a niche of people that have it. They start looking at these rookies now. They're not watching it 2-3 years in college. They just start seeing, oh, we gotta get ready for our rookie drafts. Well, the 2-3 years in college, that's what we're watching. So
Yeah.
we've been ready for this and stoked about it. And now this is an opportunity to come out here and shine and be like, all right, this is where the money's at, man. And some of these guys are gonna fall, right? I mean, it just happens. It's part of the game. Some of these guys turn out to be nothing, right? And then some of these guys, you're not talking about them, but yet we talked about them in college ball. And we're like, this is a guy we said was a sleeper 2 years ago. Now you actually see it. You know what I mean? So it's all excitement, man, because when you look at it from that standpoint, following these kids from high school all the way to college to the NFL, these are kids achieving their dreams and really getting there. And on top of that, now they help us achieve our dreams and win that championship in fantasy football.
Hell yeah, man. And like I said, this is the important part. This is the fun part where you're not. Well, you're. I will say this: you're still worrying a little bit because you still want to hit on your draft picks,
Mm,
as you don't want to waste those things. But where I find myself doing or finding myself is trading off my
mhm,
2026 first for proven talent. I know there's a few guys I still like that, and I think when I won't get too much far on this one. Well, I think the sweet spot position for this year will be that tight end spot where
mhm,
you're going to be able to get guys almost like we saw last year. You're going to be able to get some good guys that I like this year.
mhm,
A name that just popped up in my head that declared today, Max Clare from
mhm,
Ohio State. I feel like he didn't have the actual year that he wanted to just because of the
mhm.
guys that he was playing around, but he's a talent that I loved before he transferred to Ohio State. I think you're going to be able to get him for a solid value uh, due to
Sure.
the year that he had. But yeah, I think that's the position that's going to be the sweet spot for the 2026 class for sure.
Solid blocker, Max Clare. So I mean, you also want to see the field. You look at tight ends, people want to see the production. They think, oh, if they're not Brock Bowers or nothing, tight ends, they don't get that type of production. Brock Bowers was, a unicorn in college, but
Mm.
Max Clare is someone that's gonna see the field because he's smart and he knows how to block. So you're gonna see him out there. Shout out my guy Kenny and Sadiq. You know what I mean? He actually declared as well. So I mean, that's gonna be a guy that a lot
Oh,
of
he
people,
did declare.
Yes, he
yeah,
did.
yeah,
Nice.
that's gonna be a guy that a lot of people are gonna say, "Hey, we want a part of it because he's just a physical specimen." You know what I mean? So tight ends, if you hit on them, man, and we're getting to the era where the top five, those older guys, the Kelsey, Kittles, Andrews, they're dying off, right? And these young guns are coming in. We're seeing these young guns take over. This class has some young guns that can hop in that spot as well. So it'll be exciting watching.
Oh, and let's start with one of these young fellas as he placed third place in the Heisman running this year. Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, running back. He, for a lot of people, he is or he should be the RB1. Some would compare him and would have him in that tier if you're talking about draft classes where Bijan, Jameer Gibbs is for the top of the RB class. I don't particularly have him in the Bijan,
Mm,
era, the Bijan, the Gibbs. He might be with the Ashton Genty. I think he's in that tier for me. Uh,
okay.
but when I'm looking at him, I do see like a RB1. I do see a three down type workhorse. Uh, he does have game breaking explosiveness. I do absolutely love the contact balance that he has.
Mhm.
What makes Jeremiah Love, who some would say he's potential 101 in
Mhm.
some formats, what
Okay.
makes him a fun prospect for you?
All around, keep it on the Dragon Ball theme. He's the Goku of this class, right? He's the
Whew.
guy that's gonna go Super Saiyan. He's the guy that I think's your lock in for 101.
Mm,
Simply because a big part is because when you look at these running backs in this class, there is a drastic tier break from Jeremiah Love to the next running back.
agreed.
It's not a close one. Gency, you can argue Hampton, Judkins, you can throw in Travion Henderson, right? There was a deep running back class last year. This running back class isn't as deep, but Love is the elite talent and I think, is the sure thing, right? Wide receivers are great. We'll talk about them as well. But Love is the sure thing. Like you said, three down back. He has the physical capabilities, the contact balance is there. He has the pass catching, he has the vision, he has
Mm,
the speed. He can be the home run hitter. There's games he had like 200 yards and like three touchdowns, four touchdowns, and that
mm,
was with another running back in the backfield with him and Jadarian Price, who's also a good running back in this class. But
yeah.
Jeremiah Love is going to be, like I said, the Goku. You want someone that's gonna go Super Saiyan and win you some leagues. It's gonna be this guy. Now, granted, I say this all the time. Landing spot does matter, right? Because if he goes to like New England, I don't want that. Like, what am I gonna do with that, right? If he goes to, let's just say, to Indianapolis with JT, what am I gonna do with that,
Yeah.
right? But there's some landing spots where it's like this is a premier talent. Your Cowboys, they could take him, but we know they don't take running backs in the first round. That makes sense. The Saints, they can take him, but they probably won't go the first round with the running backs. So there are some teams that can definitely use him, but at the same time, he's an elite talent where there is a lot of holes that he can go up there and open, and he is the lock. If you need a running back and you have the 101, you need to take him because you don't want to take a shot on these other guys later because it's just such a drastic tier break. Not that they can't hit, they can, but it's just such a big tier break. I'm talking about like levels to it. He's
Yeah.
like he's at that top level, and then you have like 5 levels down to the next running back.
So the teams that I like for Jeremiah Love would be the Minnesota Vikings if they
I
bring
love
back.
that.
Aaron Jones. I always loved Aaron Jones, but he's getting up there in age,
Mhm,
and he's been getting beat up quite a bit. Other teams I'm looking at, the Kansas City Chiefs, seems like they were looking at Brees Howell, getting him during the trade, before the trade deadline last year. Didn't turn out, but they were looking and a hot horse because both of their running backs ended up getting hurt between James Conner
mhm.
and his
Trey
the second
Benson.
one is I'm getting a mind blank of who.
Benson.
Thank you, Benson. Trey Benson
Hmm.
is the Arizona Cardinals is another team that I could see
Sure.
using or could use Jeremiah Love if they don't go ahead and try to get a quarterback to replace Kyler Murray, who
Hmm.
I think will end up still with the Cardinals. Those are the teams that I really do like. I do think when it comes to value, he gives you kind of what Ashton Genty, what people were thinking about before he even steps on that field, a top 20
Hmm.
dynasty running back at your disposal. And some would say he's the safest pick in the
Hmm.
draft, depending on where he goes. Now, for all rookie running
How
backs,
would you rank? How would you rank Jeremiah Love compared to the big five of last year?
that's what I was going. That's literally
Where
what
would you
you.
have those guys?
Gentry wasn't my one, right? He was my RB3 behind Junkins and Hampton, but I definitely put him behind Junkins. Junkins was just a special talent, man. If anyone that watched his tape, like I said, what me and Bucky did, we watched him at Ole Miss, right? So when he was a freshman, doing work in the SEC, transferred to the Big Ten, had a time to stay with Henderson, still did work at Ohio State and won a Natty. Then you have Love. I mean, Love is just that special talent where I would have him over Gentry. I get people. I had an argument with someone on X about it, like, oh, Gentry's elite, bro. What would Junkins do at Boise State, right? If he's playing the G5 level, what would
Mm,
Gentry do if he is playing the SEC? We don't know. Those are hypotheticals we could throw around, but the fact
yeah,
is, Gentry wasn't in the Power Four. He was in the G5, and that hurts a lot, in my opinion, because yeah, he still did good, but you got to figure out these are guys that are playing at different levels. Jeremiah Love is doing some great things at Notre Dame, and you look at it. CJ Carr was good, and CJ Carr would still need to see a lot more. That's the freshman quarterback that was at Notre Dame, but the offense ran through Jeremiah Love. He's that type of tier. Now, Gentry was at Boise State as well. Don't get me wrong, but again, he was still doing some good things at Notre Dame. They did play some big games, and Jeremiah Love still came out and played good. Last year, he got hurt during the playoffs, so they had a downfall. This year, they didn't make it. And that's a whole nother story. But Love is able to go and be the true workhorse, be able to go against big teams and do it. I would have had him at the RB2 if we had him last year behind Junkins, because I just think Junkins, Grant, he's like Nick Chubb now because he had that horrible break of the leg, just like Nick Chubb did. I mean, this is gonna be something where he's gonna be on a chair, but I would have loved his RB2 of last year.
I think the thing I love about Love the most when I watched his tape was, man, he is like jumping like clean over
Mhm,
guys, even guys like damn near standing up. He's like fucking
mhm,
clearing those guys. So I think if he tests his vertical, he's got to have like a 40-inch vertical. Like he is just airborne.
mhm.
Hopefully it doesn't get him hurt at any point, but that dude is clearing guys. It's like crazy
no,
how high he gets, how he gets up. That in the breakaway he runs. He was first in 10-yard runs. He was first in 15-yard runs. And he was first with 726 of those breakaway runs. So, very explosive guy there.
yeah,
He,
his I think his jump cut is one of the funnest, like one of my favorite things about him. And looking at some of his, some of the different stats that he had 38% forced missed tackle rate,
mhm,
second among Power Four running backs. He had two 90-yard touchdown runs in his career, first in the program history. He
mhm.
was a unanimous All American. He won the Dope Walker Award winner, Heisman Trophy. Like I said, he was third place. He ran for 228 yards versus USC, the most by any Notre Dame player at the Notre Dame Stadium. I really do like me some Love. But you was going to say something,
uh,
SC?
USC has horrible run defense. I will say that. So that's a benefit of doubt. But I love shout out our guy at the Devi Dojo, the Dooku, the sensei there, because he's a USC fan, and they have a good theme song. I'll send that to y'all. But Love, he kind of reminds me of JT just because of the athleticism is different than JT, but that strength is there. where he could just bully some guys. They're not
Yep.
like Derrick Henry type of strength, but just that strength to just get through the tackles and make some big plays, and that explosiveness that JT has. That's what Love has too. Love has the advantage on the pass catching, I believe, a little bit more agile than what JT is, but that strength and that way they kind of are built reminds you of a JT type of player. Now, JT was a special talent in college
Of
as
course.
well. He had like I think like 6,000 yards in his college career, which is crazy. But yeah, Love didn't have that, but Love the same kind of play style, same kind of strength as JT. I feel like.
Oh yeah. And if you had to, for you, are you going to be whether? And honestly, there were some places where I felt like I should have traded down and would have still gotten a fair good value. Are you trying to trade out of the 101 this year, or are you rolling? Are you sticking through and going ahead and select Love?
Chances are for the leagues that I do have the 101, it's because I did want Love, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with it. Last year I would have done it with Genchi because I feel you could got King's Ransom the way Genchi was being hyped to 2,500 yards. You could
Oh
have
yeah.
got a lot more. I don't think you're necessarily doing that with Love. And again, as I mentioned, if I want a running back, and this is the one you want to get, right? And I'll take shots later on guys. We can talk
Mhm.
about like LJ Martin, Mark Fletcher if he ends up doing it as well. But those are guys that I'll take shots on. But I'm not gonna trade Jeremiah Love to take those shots. You know what I mean? Like I'll trade later to get those shots in it. But if I have that 101, again, that lockstep in there, maybe you can argue if the 102, if someone needs a quarterback, and like I want to go up there and get Fernando, and you could get 102 or something like that, maybe. But yeah, I think I'm sticking with the 101, just taking Love again because the running backs in this class aren't as deep as they were last year. So it's take the elite guy and be good with it.
Sure. And Rockaboo, do you have any closing take on Love before we head to our second Dragon Ball of the episode?
Yeah. Saints, don't fucking draft this guy in the first round, please.
Hey,
I'm good. I'm good with Devin Neal. I'm good with Alvin Kamara coming back. I think he's gonna have a bounce back season. And I'm cool with Audric Estime. I don't want to. I don't want to get a first round running back. I'm cool with just adding depth. And what I do want is a first round wide receiver, which we'll get to shortly.
Off topic, real quick. End of my season, one of my leagues, I traded Travis Etienne for Alvin Kamara. I was like, oh, this is bank because Kamara had the easy playoff schedule, and then he got hurt, and then I had Devin Neal, and then he got hurt, and then I lost in the playoffs.
You should have picked up
Interesting.
that. You would have had something for the final at least. You probably got eliminated in the semis,
Oh
but
yeah.
if you made it to the final with Estimate, you would have been golden.
The benefit is the guy I traded ETN for, or traded to ETN, he actually kicked the guy out that I needed to lose to get into the playoffs, so that helped me. But then I lost in the first round. So
See, hey, listen, that's where when you look back at trades, you're like, damn, maybe I should have just waited or I should have just held off. It happens to the best of us, man.
Hey, that's the worst feeling when you trade a guy and then he comes back and destroys you in the playoffs in the finals. One time, a couple years ago, I traded Stephon Diggs in the middle of the season for like a random first, and I'll be damned if that son of a bitch didn't score 42 god dang points on me in the final, and I lost by like 7 points.
damn.
Yeah, traded
Hurt.
away my championship.
Hurt, real hurt right there. But looking at our second prospect, let's talk about a Heisman real quick, and someone who I have been very much high on even before the college football 2025 football season happened, and he became the Heisman himself, Fernando Mendoza.
Mhm.
I very much liked his game looking at Cal, but Cal had a horrible football team, not because of him, just in general had bad guys. We had Jaden Ott get hurt, and we saw what he turned out at Oklahoma. Didn't really have much, but in 2025, the Heisman had 71.5 completion. He led the nation with 33 passing touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. He had 39 total touchdowns, which was second nationally. And then, if we're looking at it, led Indiana to a 15-0 record, and now is trying to get them into the national championship game. And I'm absolutely loving what I am seeing from Fernando Mendoza. And also another fun fact: he had 84.66% of the possible points to win the Heisman, which was the seventh highest ever. AP College Football Player of the Year, Maxwell Award winner, Walter Camp Award winner, Davy O'Brien Award winner, Big Ten Offensive Player, and Quarterback of the Year. Do I have to say more about my boy Fernando Mendoza and potentially the number one overall of the 2026 NFL draft to go to the Las Vegas Raiders? SC, how are we feeling about Fernando Mendoza going into
Man,
this offseason, man?
I'm gonna make you feel bad here because that's not my guy there. So
Ooh.
Mendoza, I had him as the Master Rossi, right? Like Master Rossi's legit. He knows how to get it done, right? But look, what's being underrated for Indiana is that defense. That defense is stellar. That defense gets him in good field positions, and he's able to make plays. He made Omar Cooper look great. He made Elijah Shrek look great, right? The running backs, they look good because he's able to dump it off, do some big things. Don't get me wrong. You have a 6'5", 230 type of quarterback. That's a prototypical size. That's a great quarterback. That's like a Justin Herbert looking like, right?
Yeah.
I get it. But you talked about all those numbers. He was 20 in passing yards. So he's not going down the field, anything like that. He does have that cannon to make it happen. But the defense did a lot of it to give them good field positions for him to be able to put these points up. We just saw what they did to Oregon. The defense dismantled Oregon. It,
Bad.
Granted, Fernando Mendoza had 5 touchdowns, but you watch that game, the defense won that game. Let's say it wasn't Mendoza. Mendoza got the points on the board, but why was he able to get it so easy? Because that defense shut them down really quick and got them back on the field to make their defense even tired on Oregon's side as well. Um, Mendoza is going to be the top quarterback in this draft. I'm not saying anything about that, right? You're putting the flex up on Master Rossi, but he's one that he's going to continue to. It's really gonna depend. If you put him with the Raiders or the Jets, right? Or who has the 101 right now? Is it the Jets or the
It's the
Raiders?
Raiders.
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 Raiders. Hmm.
So they take him, possibility, right? And then you have Jesse Bowers. I get it. You can have that. You have Crosby on the other side. I get it. You can have that. But we also saw what they did last year with Gino, someone that's a veteran. It just didn't look that great there. Granted, they're getting a new head coach in there, right? So new opportunities coming out. If they skip on him, let's say Dante Moore comes down, he becomes the 101. Now the Jets get him. Yeah, you have Garrett Wilson, you have Brees Hall, similar, but we also know that's a toxic place for quarterbacks. Like that's just a death
Mhm.
trap in general. Doesn't matter who the head coach is, it's just like a cursed spot for quarterbacks. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to take that risk on Carson Beck. I mean, or excuse me, I said Carson Beck. I'll take the risk on him. But Fernando Mendoza, uh, when it comes to these guys, again, love for me is the 101. The wide receivers I think are safer. Mendoza just feels like there is opportunity to win this Heisman, but guess what? Curtis Work put up numbers last year for Indiana. They didn't go undefeated. Mendoza helped that, right? He did, but the defense did too. Defense got better than it was last year because they were giving up points, and they didn't give up a lot this year. And that's where Mendoza looks better because they're undefeated. People are looking at the quarterback, as it's rightfully so. You look at any great team, guess who's remembered first? The quarterback. But the defense wins championships. This Indiana defense is special. The Miami defense is special too. And guess what? If Miami wins, they're gonna be talking about Carson Beck winning, but it's gonna be because of the defense. And I'll say Beck, you're familiar with him with Georgia, right? Knucklehead. He's someone that doesn't make the right moves mentally, but
Yeah.
this guy left Georgia, an SEC team, which the ACC didn't even win the ACC championship. Got lucky, beat out Notre Dame in the season, so they got into the playoffs. And he said, "All right, I'm gonna run with it." And now they're in the championship against Mendoza. This is like a storybook ending because you have Mendoza, who's this guy that's like, oh, I don't even listen to music. I'll listen to high music. I meditate before games and I go out there and ball. All
Mhm.
right, cool. And then you have this guy, Carson Beck, who Rocco was saying, like, his ex hit him up, like, hey, what's up? And he's like, I don't know who you are. I'm a champion now. You know what I mean? So, two different stories here, but this is like, this is a natural born good ending for college football because either way, these quarterbacks that we talked about is the winner. But I say it all the time. That's why I play IDP. Defense wins championships. These defenses are being overlooked by a quarterback that, in my opinion, on both sides, are just going to be good. I don't necessarily see them being these franchise guys at this next level because I feel they can get weeded out really easily. They're not going to go in there and change the game. I don't think Mendoza necessarily changed it around for Indiana. I think the defense turned it around for Indiana. Mendoza just happened to be the quarterback at the time that got some easy opportunities for them.
Rocco, what you think?
Um, yeah, I mean, I like his back shoulder throw. I like his accuracy. Um, I know I heard people talk about his running ability. He looks slow to me, so I don't think that's gonna. I don't think it's gonna fly in the NFL. I think he's gonna get smashed if he tries to do that. But all that being said, I feel that he is going to be the 1.1. I mean, it's kind of set in stone. I feel like he's a good leader, on the football field, and he's going to have weapons
Mm-hmm.
in for the Raiders. So I think he could have some success. I probably won't have a lot of Mendoza, just because I'm set on most of my teams where he's going to get drafted. I think we could be lucky as fantasy managers if he gets steamed up to like 1.2. Then we're going to be able to take advantage of guys like Kai Lemon,
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, who we'll talk about in a minute.
Mhm.
So that may help us, in our rookie drafts. But the only thing I'm concerned about is him getting the ball to Brock Bowers, him creating a respectable offense so that Ashton Genty could thrive. Um, and I think that he can be serviceable, but is he going to be serviceable like in an Andy Dalton type of way, or is he going to be a game changer? I don't see him being a game changer like most 101s are. Maybe he'll be more of like a Bryce Young 101.
Mm.
And he might be really good at the NFL, but I don't know if it's going to translate over to fantasy for that
Yeah.
matter.
Mhm.
You
I
know,
think where his range is, I believe it's 102 to the 106. That's how I think
yeah.
he'll end up going as for super flex.
Mhm.
Uh, one of y'all did hit it right on the head. His rushing ability, that's a major fantasy concern. One, his limited rushing. He only had 240 rush yards, 6 touchdowns. Uh, then, if you look at it, he benefited a lot from a clean pocket at Indiana, and
Mhm.
then like as he just said, better for real football than he is fantasy. I think potentially, as he's not going to really take off. I do love his pocket command. I do love his processing of things, his clean release. I think he's mobile enough.
Mm.
A comp that I have of for him is Kirk Cobain's Kirk Cousins. He reminds
Okay.
me of quite a
Fair.
bit of so. Do I see him just coming into the league ripping it? No, we haven't really even seen him do that at Indiana. Yes,
Mm.
he'll give you like 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, but then it'll be like 200 passing yards,
Mm.
225 passing yards. So I like me some Fernando Mendoza. I liked him before he even had the Heisman season. And will I select him for a few teams that I need a quarterback for and feel good?
Mm.
Yes, I feel a lot better with him going to the Raiders over the Jets, right? When then with them having Bowers, Genty, hopefully
Mm.
they can get themselves a good coach in there to build with Fernando. But
So,
I do feel y'all concerns around him when it comes to uh, being fantasy relevant.
I have two questions here that just popped in my head. One, shout out Guy Buckwild because we did a transfer show way like in March or May of last year, and he brought up Mendoza going to Indiana. Like that's a guy you got to watch for. Sure enough, like you mentioned, the Heisman.
Hmm.
So, first question: would you take Mendoza or Cam Ward?
That's a
This is
hard one.
this is no because I feel you could take Cam out of college, but knowing what Cam did in Tennessee, would you take Cam now or would you take Mendoza?
I'm probably taking Mendoza because
Mendoza.
I feel like the Raiders have a better situation. As weird as that sounds.
No, fair.
I agree with Rocco on that one. I like the situation better in Las Vegas than I do in Tennessee. Even though I think Cam Ward is a good talent, I think with Fernando, Cam Ward had to transfer a bit, and we did
Mhm,
see him do it at Washington State as well.
mhm.
But I think with Fernando, we saw it at Cal, and then he had a Heisman type year at Indiana. Even though
Yeah.
Cam Ward had a good year at Miami as well.
The problem with Cam Ward is they're talking about Arthur Smith and Matt Nagy and all of these
Mm.
retreaded coaches who have failed already. And I mean, what are his weapons? At least Mendoza, you can walk in the door and say, "I got an elite first or second overall tight end in the league in
Mhm.
Bowers, and I got a really good running back who had moments even in a bad situation last year."
That's true. And then one more, because only because I've been seeing the mocks. Would you take Mendoza at 1 or 2, or say you trade back? You said the sweet spot's 106, so say you trade back to 108, out just right outside that. But you also get a third. But in that third, would you take Garrett Nussmeyer if he goes to the Rams in the third round this year?
I'm taking somebody. I would definitely take. Yeah, I like me the and what I've seen from people. They feel better about these mid level guys
Mm,
because you feel like you get better value rather than
yep,
taking a quarterback fairly early in your rookie draft, like a Fernando Mendoza, when you can
right,
wait to get yourself a Garrett Nussmeyer and or
right.
a Carson Beck
Mm,
and for more bang for your buck, so you don't have to spend that premium pick for him.
fair.
Um, that's a far way to drop down to get, to fall out of the top six
Right.
kind of tier, so to say. I don't feel comfortable with who would be at 108, so I'm not going to give up the 102 to move back to the 108. That's too far for me. Maybe if I was moving back one spot, maybe two spots,
Mm,
I would do it for a third, but I'd want more. But I am intrigued with Nussmeyer.
mm,
I mean, that we're talking about a guy who was projected to be the 101 for some people before the start of the season. Obviously, there were troubles
those
with
was
the
trash.
offensive coordinator in
Right.
at LSU. He had some injury concerns, and it kind of was a lost season. But I feel like he can still glow up if he gets to the right spot, like you said with the Rams. I think if he landed with the Rams, I think we're looking at a second round rookie pick.
For
We
sure.
can't forget about Trinidad as well, as he might be coming out. So
Yeah, Trinidad. If he don't get this eligibility, bro, the hype's gonna be there, man. Trinidad's a baller.
mm,
You saw what he did at Ole Miss, and I'm excited to see what this kid's future is, because something special about that kid, man. What he did at Ole Miss. So,
we
Yeah.
saw Jackson Dart go in second rounds quite a bit last year, and we
mhm,
saw the rookie year that he just had. So you
right.
can get yourself a good quarterback in that second round. You don't have to spend first round premium.
Fun
For sure.
fact: I was in the building for the Sugar Bowl, and that guy was electric.
Oh, I
Like
bet.
he had the Georgia fans like
Trinidad's
it
real.
felt inevitable for the Georgia fans. I'm sure as a Georgia fan, you felt it like Georgia has a good defense, but they could do nothing with this guy. They had him dead to rights several times, and he just like scoots out the back door and has a flip, a throw, and just gets rid of the ball before he takes a game altering sack or negative play. So I mean I really like the guy. I think he's got mobility. I think he's got moxie. He's got a winning kind of it factor to him. So he's the guy that if I was to push back, past that six, and
Mhm.
he declared, he's a guy that I would probably be like really looking at in that second half of the first round.
I
Yeah.
hope. I know he wants to go back, but I hope they deny his eligibility, because like you had such a great season, man. You can't go back and have a bad season and just drop out. You know what I mean? So I think just take it and run with it, man, because there's something special there. An NFL team will take a shot on you, I feel like.
We'll continue the rest of the episode after this quick break from our good friends at Lead Champ, where you can win a free NFL jersey every week by being the being the number one ranker. We had a new winner this past week, Austin from the Dynasty Gambit, finally joined the group. So they both have won. Actually, the last 2 weeks, we got our good friend Ben, who will be on the show Thursday, and Austin has now won it this past week. So we will get back to the rest of the show after this quick break. We also got a question here about Pickens and should he be shipped off for the 101? But we will answer that when we get back after this quick break. Hey, And we are back at it with our good friend over here, SC Romero from the FF Universe, breaking down his six Dragon Balls up to 2026 rookie draft. We have discussed Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame, and Fernando Mendoza, quarterback from Indiana, the Heisman. Now, let's move over. Before we actually get into the wide receivers, we have a question here. Should I ship Pickens for the 101? And this is my advice to you. Hell no. But and that's a hard one for me because I feel like if you're having the 101, why not pair that to go get yourself a CD who's in a higher tier for me? But George Pickens is 100% worth a first round pick, just not the 101 for me. What do you think about this, SC?
I mean, I assume he's trading Pickens for the 101, right? So
Should I ship
I
Pickens?
think
Yeah.
I would take. I think yeah, because the thing I would need to see who the running backs are on this team. Because again, I think you go get Jeremiah Love with that. Pickens was the one for Dallas, but you still know you have CD there. CD is an elite talent. Pickens just came out what year 3 or 4 that he's in now. Just
Yep.
came out had this top season that he had. Can he repeat this year? I think Pickens is a sell high right now. Now, if you're getting just the 101, that's probably all you're gonna get. Like I don't think you get anything on top of that. You can try to argue like he was a top 5 wide receiver this year. Go get a little bit more, but I think you can get more for the 101. So if you want to play the game of going in there and saying, all right, look, I'm gonna trade Pickens, get the 101, then trade more to get more out of the 101. I think you could do that because I don't think I wouldn't trade Pickens for anything like the 102, 103. Like I'm not gonna trade Pickens, who's now a proven wide receiver, for these young wide receivers, but you can go get that 101 and go get again that elite talent Jeremiah Love.
What I would do is I would take that 101, and then you're in the pole position. So you have a long time to April and your rookie drafts. So once you have that 101, you can trade back from there. You don't necessarily have to take the 101, and you can cascade that 101 and move back to like 103. Still get you like a Makai Lemon, uh, your guy Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate. If you need a quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. If you move a little bit further back, maybe a Trinidad Chambliss, and maybe pick up another first. So you can actually cascade that 101 into multiple first or later first in
Hmm.
another player that helps you out. So I think I would do it at this point. Unless it's like a superstar,
Mhm.
I would definitely trade the 101 for probably what's going to be a lot of people's wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3.
I think
It's just, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, SC.
I'd say since we're on with the sickos, I mean, you would be sicko mentality. You trade, go get the 101, trade the 101 back, get a couple first, trade that first and a second or third, and go get Pickens back. And now you have a first and Pickens back on your block. I mean, that's my sicko mentality when I do some of these trades. I'm like, all right, I'll do
Hey,
this, get that, and make the moves. And yeah, I still have my guy at the end, and then I have a first round pick. So,
hey, when being able to start flipping those picks and being able to really be the maestro of trades,
mhm.
that's how you end up winning. So hell yeah to that.
Maestro trade. This guy got a first and a second round pick for Derrick Henry in season, and thank you because he won me the championship in our shared FFU league.
Yep.
But yeah, this guy is a shark when you get into negotiations with him.
And since we're already on the topic of wide receivers, let's talk about the Balintikoff winner, Makai Lemon, wide receiver from USC, who finished with 79 receptions, 1,156 yards, had a target share of 29.3 or target rate of 29.3, and a 3.13, yes, yards per route run. He led the Power Four in receiving yards. He led the Big Ten in receptions per game. He had a PFF overall grade of 90.8, fourth among wide receivers, a PFF receiving grade of 91.4, third among all wide receivers, tied first nationally with 50 catches for first down, and he was the first team All American. And if we all agree with this one, he is a first rounder, maybe a top 20 pick. We were looking at late first round to early second roundish. I think for dynasty rookie drafts, he's in that 103 to 105 area.
Mhm.
Some might have him ahead of Jordan Tyson. He might be the wide receiver one for a
Mhm.
lot of folks. a lot of people compare him to Sun God Amon Ra already.
Mhm.
This, they both come from USC, and I love that he's a technician. He has elite route running. He wins with nuance over speed. I don't think he's going to be a burner,
Mhm.
but he can work that slot, a slot inside outside type of guy. So he is a reliable chain mover. His strengths are he's always open. I think he has some of the best hands in the draft,
Mhm.
and he's a plug and play type of guy. A few of the concerns, not really concerns though. Like I just said, he's not really a true burner, and I think he needs to be in the right scheme to get
Mhm.
the most out of him. But I do think he is a PPR in the making type of guy, especially for if you're in those PPR type leagues. He could be very much a asset for you. But remember, what do you think about Makai Lemon? And is he your wide receiver one going into the the real deep haul of the offseason?
Yeah, he's been my wide receiver one for some time. I know a lot of people have Tyson. We'll talk about Tyson a little later.
Mm,
Makai Lemon, people have said, the Amon Ra is a lot more fluid in his routes. Makai Lemon's a little bit more sharper. As you mentioned, that speed isn't there, but that's not where he's going to win. He's not going to win burning you down and getting the ball down. He's going to win just in the open field, making you miss and making the big plays and getting those yards after the catch. And that's
mm,
where you're going to love him, because once he gets the ball in his hands, he's a playmaker. He's going to make some big plays for you down the stretch. I absolutely love his game. I think he can flourish, like you said, inside outside. It'll probably be more in the slot if the team uses him right. He's not going to be, like you mentioned, the landing spot's gonna matter, right? So I don't necessarily want him to go to a crowded team. Like I don't think he's necessarily someone that can go out there and just flourish over established wide receivers. Like if he
yep,
went to Dallas, let's say Dallas, and they didn't get rid of Pickens, well then now I don't know how that's gonna work out. Pickens, CD, and or not Amon Ra, Makai Lemon, right?
mm,
But I have him as the Vegeta because I have him as the two, right? He's right behind that Goku type of mentality where he's someone that's just gonna be a guy that's gonna help you win. You're gonna love what you get from him. It may take him a little bit to really get his feet going, but once he gets established in the offense, he can definitely be that guy for you. Again, if he's buried, I'm gonna be a little bit concerned. But if he's in a team that needs an open wide receiver or needs a wide receiver too, he can be that solid, that T Higgins type of guy. You're not gonna put T Higgins or Jamar Chase, but you're still gonna talk about T Higgins as like a wide receiver one type of player. That's what Makai can be. If he goes somewhere, let's say the Jets, and they lose rid of Addison, or Addison does whatever he's doing with his legal issues, then you have someone that could come in and be that solid wide receiver two that's on that friends of the wide receiver one. He's just not
mm.
hyping over Jets there. But I mean he could be someone that could really be a good complement to a solid alpha, or he can be the alpha himself if he gets in the position.
Hell yeah. I think he has a high floor. So he at the very moment he gets on the team, I think he has wide receiver two type appeal to him. And with wide receiver one upside. If he
Mhm.
goes to the right place, I think he can be the guy who gets you those receptions. Rocco, do you like yourself some Makai Lemon?
Oh, I love Makai Lemon. He's my number one in the class.
Mhm.
Just the way I build through wide receiver, I can possibly be talked into love. When I see him land, but landing spot unknown. I'm going with Lemon. One of the funnest plays that I saw when I was kind of reviewing some tape on him, he was running an inside route, and the quarterback threw it to the wrong shoulder, and he had to flip his hips. This was against Michigan. Had to flip his hips, makes the catch, sideline awareness. Kept his feet in bounds, and that's kind of one of the things I saw with him a lot. He's very aware when he's near the sideline
Yeah.
and able to keep himself in bounds, and that's a skill. Um, mm, some people have to refine, but he's really good at it already. 3.13 yards per route run, second in the nation. Could be a slot mostly guy. I think that's why we see a lot of the Amon Ra St. Brown comparisons.
Mhm.
And I like it. I mean, USC, there's a lot to say that he's pretty close to a sun god, second in missed forced tackles. So he's got a lot. He's got a lot with him, and like you said, a PPR machine. I'm in all PPR leagues, so I think he could, like Huncho said, he could be a number two that has number one upside. Yeah, I'm in. I mean, his highlight package is just incredible. Just seeing him in contested catches situations, he's just a beast. I mean, he's not that big, but like he seems to come down with it more often than not. So, yeah, give me that guy until I see where Love lands. He's my number one.
I like me some Makai Lemon. Imagine if he ended up going to the Atlanta Falcons and pairing with a Drake London, where you don't need to be the guy, right? And you
Mhm.
go be with a Kyle Pitts, you go be with a Bijan Robinson. I think he would be the. And I know they have a lot of people like Darnell Mooney. He's cool. If y'all didn't know, he's all right. If y'all didn't know, I do root for the Falcons, even though I'm a Cowboys fan since I'm from Georgia. That's why I do love my Georgia Bulldogs. But I do think Makai Lemon can give you more than Darnell Mooney can for sure
100%.
can inside outside. I think he gives you a little bit more when it's overall solid player than Darnell Mooney, who's a cool wide receiver too. I think at this point he's a wide receiver 3. I
Mhm.
believe Makai Lemon can be a wide receiver 2 and give you wide receiver 1 type weeks.
Now the
No,
Falcons
Lemon
just
is
need
a
a
tough.
quarterback that can get him the ball. We'll be all right.
That dude Danny D says Lemon is a tough dude. That he is. Very much agree. I think he's going to be a fun guy, very much. When you're trying to, and once again, it's going to depend on where he lands, and that's really is going to be if I end up having more shares of Makai Lemon or less shares of Makai Lemon. Yeah, I know a lot of people went down on Luther Burden because
Mhm.
they thought he was
And what?
Oh yeah, you're right. That sounds a little pause, but they
He
were
said did
down
what?
they were down on Luther Burden because of
Mhm.
where they thought he was, in a crowded wide receiver group. But towards the end of the year, he ended up being a viable piece of where we saw what he was able to do at Mizzou, right?
Mhm.
Another place that I would like for Makai Lemon to head to, the Buffalo Bills would be another place for him to that he could take advantage of. They need a wide receiver bad. It might be that they're out on Keon Coleman and he might be on the
Mhm.
doghouse, but I think he would be, and that's another place that it would be a good spot for him to be. And really, it depends on what the rest of these teams do. Like the Rams could be in play for a wide receiver, depending on what they got. Nakua, they got Adams, but he is aging, so
Mhm.
father time comes for everybody. Uh, we got the Saints that could end up needing a wide receiver
Mhm.
too. You got the New York Giants that could end up using another wide receiver. Uh,
Mhm.
Pittsburgh Steelers, San Francisco 49ers for sure is another a team
Mhm.
that could end up. And imagine Makai Lemon with Kyle Shanahan. Like he's already a creative mind. Just imagine what he would do with a Makai Lemon. And we got fan cred. Shout out to anybody that's out there. And you don't bang with Lee Safe. Fan cred is out there as a replacement for Lee Safe. No fees. But fan cred founder says Kyle Pitts is going to be in Atlanta next year. Would be an even better spot for Makai Lemon. Yeah, honestly, we would have to see how they would draft, right? But I think what the what would do the Atlanta Falcons the best justice were for them to go out, go get an offensive minded coach, and then have young talent. Got to see what you do at the quarterback spot, but you have Bijan. You have Drake. Go get yourself another wide receiver. Re-sign Kyle Pitts, and you have one of the youngest, most talented, one of the more younger talented groups. If everything hits well, we also have another comment. What's up, boys? Does Lemon last until the late first round? SC, I'll let you take this one. Do you think
No,
he lasts until the late first?
I don't think he lasts to 105. I mean, 105 is pushing it. I think you're looking at 103 at max. Nah, if he's in the late first, that's a smash. I'm assuming you're talking rookie drafts, not NFL. Because NFL,
I think
I don't
we're
trust
talking
these
about
GMs. So
NFL
maybe,
draft. I think.
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't trust these GMs. These GMs make some foolish decisions. So I mean, maybe like you see some of these picks these GMs make, you're like, bro, you're gonna have some of them draft like I don't even know, an offensive tackle instead of taking a premium wide receiver, and it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's possible. I mean, they say they watch tape in NFL, but sometimes these picks don't make me believe it.
And then what are your
I,
thoughts on if he
I,
goes to the Commanders?
If you're asking me, I would love that actually. I think that's something that could be good. I think Terry McLaurin needs a solid compliment there for him. I know they have who McCaffrey, right? Luke McCaffrey.
He's
There
very good.
for
Yeah.
you can have Ben Sanat if you want the tight end, Zach Ertz, right? They obviously need a running back too, but I think that'd be phenomenal for him because I think as we were talking about that solid compliment, Terry McLaurin is that field stretcher. Makai Lemon can then eat underneath McLaurin and what he's doing and just be the guy that makes the big plays for him. So I think that would be a premium spot for him.
I would
And you
think
was
that
going to say
teams are
something, Rocco?
smarter than they were, when Amon-Ra St. Brown got drafted because he slipped into the fourth round because of his testing.
Hmm.
So I don't think that teams are going to want that to happen
Hmm.
again and up half of the first round. If Tate off the board and Tyson's off the board, then yeah, I would love for my Saints to get a hold of them. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but there's several teams that could you really use a wide receiver, and I don't think he makes it to the late first round.
Well, shoot, let's continue
Hmm.
our wide receiver talk then with the former, what people thought would have been the first guy off the board in rookie drafts, Jordan Tyson, Arizona wide receiver. He was injured in 2025, so his production was cut off a little short, but still managed to go for 57 receptions, 628 yards. He was a third team All American in 2024. He was the Walter Camp preseason All American, was a Blitikoff Award watch list. Now, if we're looking at some other things, he had 34.9 on-field target share, which was seventh nationally. He had 52.6% red zone target share, first among wide receivers with 40 targets. He is. We got to see how his health checks out. I still think he is a first round wide receiver. And if we're looking at dynasty range, I think he goes anywhere between that 102 to once again that 106 area. Some
Hmm.
might fall out of love with him due to his health, but I could see him drop to like that 108, 109 area, and but a lot of people still have him wide receiver one just due to what we saw on the field. Now,
Hmm.
a couple of comparisons that I've seen, Stephon Diggs comes up, and I do like that as a comp to him.
Hmm.
He has a pretty solid ceiling as an alpha wide receiver one potential. I think he's one of the more physical gifted wide receivers, not because of athleticism, but he has elite body control. He has ball skills. I like when you get the ball into his hands, he's a weapon. And I think out of everybody, when you think about the Makai Lemons, when you think about the Carnell Tates,
Hmm.
Jordan Tyson with the ball in his end is one of the best players when it comes to that yak, right?
Hmm.
So he is separation creator. He does have reliable hands. Only one drop in 100 targets, 120 targets over 2 years. He's a playmaker. Now concerns once again his injury history. He had a knee injury. He had a collarbone. He's had a hamstring, and over the last 3 seasons, he's has missed a significant time. But he still has that wide receiver one upside when healthy. And then he's battling Carnell Tate. He's battling Makai Lemon for that wide receiver one spot. Some will say he has a higher ceiling, lower floor due to the injuries. But what do you think, SC, about Jordan Tyson?
Yeah, man. This is I come to Frieza. We're talking about our Dragon Balls, right? So he's just that evil villain guy, and this is where I say you got to make sure you understand what the consensus is, because I wouldn't say he's not my wide receiver two. He's not my wide receiver one. Um, but consensus is probably gonna have him at that. So when you're looking at your rookie drafts and he's on the board, and there's other guys there, you have to be aware of, hey, what are my other league mates? Every league's different, but what are my other league mates looking at? Right? We're in a show at Dynasty Sickles, so if you're following on, you probably already know about Tyson, what he's doing, right? But excuse me, with some other league mates in home leagues, particularly, they may not know about this. They just may say, "Oh, look, Tyson's the guy. He got drafted first in the NFL. This is gonna be the wide receiver one, yada yada." But you brought up a big concern for me, and that's the injuries. Every year of his college career, he's been hurt. Right, Freeze's right there. Where you think Freeze's legit, he's strong and powerful, but he does get beat up, and that's where Tyson does come in. He's a good wide receiver. I'm not knocking that, but why am I going to take that risk on someone that has been injured literally every year of his career in college and have that opportunity when you can go out and trade back and get a Denzel Bossy, get a Cardinal Tate. Hell, you may even get a Makai Lemon if he goes 102, 101 and get
Yep.
that guy. Size is legitimate. I've said it multiple times on the Devy Planet, on Devy Degens. Sam Levitt was good because Jordan Tyson was his wide receiver. You look at the field when Jordan Tyson is not on the field, Sam Levitt's lost. He's not doing the plays he does. He does his yards come from Jordan Tyson being a legitimate wide receiver. Like you mentioned, he's aggressive. He can go up there and get the ball in the air. He can win the contested catches. He has solid route running, probably the best in the class, maybe when he makes his cuts. But the injuries are a concern. And then this year with the hamstring as well, that's even big as well. Like I don't like my wide receivers to get the hamstring. The Achilles is the death what am I looking for? The death sentence for running backs.
Yeah.
Hamstrings are something I don't want for wide receivers because those things linger, and it might not be something that lingers at the beginning of the year. But if he has it, he doesn't get the right treatment or the right nutrition on schedule for him. That hamstring's gonna linger, and it's gonna be something that does it. And guess what? In his career, he misses the big games when he needs to be on the field. He ends up missing that, and for that reason, I'm pulling back on him. Again, the player, the talent on the field is nice. The thing is, he's not on the field. And my guy Tommy with the Debbie DJs always says, your best ability is your durability. And right now, he doesn't have that. So for that, I'm out on him. He's in my top six because I know what consistency is. I know the baller that he is, but I also understand the risk that's taken him. So that's the pick right there. Wherever he's on the board, and I'm looking at the picks and who's there, I'm like, all right, who wants Jordan Tyson? Come get him, and I'm trading back to get out of that.
And for Jamie's question here, is Tyson similar to a George Pickens type outside X receiver? I would say no. I don't see George Pickens in Jordan Tyson. Think of more on he's what people thought Keon Coleman was going to be coming out. More of when Keon had the ball in his hand, yeah, Keon wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the fastest guy, he wasn't the quickest guy, but damn near, if you get the ball in his hands, he was going to make something happen at Florida State. Think of more in that realm of a guy who's a once you get the ball in his hand, he's able to do something with it. Except for George Pickens, he's more of a 50-50 ball. Can Jordan Tyson be a 50-50 ball guy? Yes. But he's not, that's not like his go-to. He's more of a guy you want to get the ball, let him do something, let him make his way around the defense, and that's how he wins. But shout, I think more of I see more Carnell Tate, and we'll talk about Carnell Tate,
Mhm.
but I see more Carnell Tate as a George Pickens than I do Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
thing I like about him is he's got some versatility. In 2024, he played about half his slots in the slot and half his routes were outside. And he had a 3.04 yards per route run, so he was super efficient. That efficiency fell down in 2025. And he was injured, and he played mostly out wide. So I wonder if that led to some of his lack of efficiency. And I know the Saints are a little bit in on him, and I am terrified because I do not want my training staff to work with a guy that's already banged up. So
Mhm.
I'm out.
Over several years, not just one.
And to do the comp thing, I mean, honestly, you talk about the Saints. He's like an Olave because he's a technician when it comes to the route running. He's really solid, but yet Olave too hasn't been able to stay on the field. This year was better, right? But previous, I mean, granted, it was Derek Carr throwing medicine balls towards him, but still, it was he's someone that got injured, and that was the reason why he was off. And why are you gonna have two technicians? You need someone more like a Cardinal take that could stretch the field, so Olave could be the guy that eats underneath. I think that's where Tyson will shine. I don't think he's gonna shine being your true X. He needs someone that's gonna complement him. That's been the reason why he's been banged up at Arizona State because that's all they have. He never had anyone to compliment him or to get eyes off of him. He can't be your true alpha X, just be the main guy. He needs someone there to be consistent all year.
I
And if
said,
you're going to mention Derek Carr, I want to take this opportunity to say, fuck Derek Carr.
fuck Derek Carr. I always say this: you're a guy is considered injury prone until he's not. But right
Yeah.
now, the data shows with hell, we're seeing it right now. Look at Michael Penix; he had injuries all throughout college. Now,
There's that picture of Michael Penix like sitting in the wheelchair with both his legs cast up, and people are like, "He's my 101." I was like, "Bro, what? Like this guy's banged up before the draft."
like he's out. It's a bad look for Michael Penix right now. Hell yeah, Jamie. These guys know ball. SC definitely knows some ball, man. And this is why we have him on the show to give us his intel on these guys. So once again, shout out to SC for being
Good
on
shot.
and giving us his wisdom on these prospects of 2026 for sure. But Let's move on to another wide receiver from Ohio State,
Mhm.
Carnell Tate. That was kind of a bar, Dr. Seuss in his bitch. Ohio State wide receiver, where he had 51 catches, 875 yards, 9 receiving touchdowns, 85.7% contested catch rate. And he's another guy who's in that first round to early second round ish area.
Mhm.
And dynasty rookie drafts, he's damn near, I would say, he's depends on how much somebody loves Carnell Tate. Because once again, some people do love him as wide receiver one. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone ended up taking him 102, 103. But maybe that safe area is more of that 105, 107 area. But he is a very solid wide receiver too, with alpha potential, a classic X receiver by a build, 6'3", 195. He's another route runner. Best hands, I would say. I would put him up there. I put him fairly up there with the guys like Makai Lemon
Mhm.
when it comes to hands. Zero drops. I mean, zero. Wins with nuance, not speed. Once again, he's a contested catch dominant. Once again, with 85.7 elite percent body control. His tracking ability. If you go and look at Cornell Tate's highlights, as of him going up and basically head tapping people and
Mhm.
going for the ball. He's a red zone threat, well-rounded skill set. He's not going to be fast though. I think when I'm thinking about Carnell Tate, he's more of like a 4.5, 4.6 kind of guy.
Mhm.
Once again, not a burner. I think he does need to improve against press because he's a little light in the ass at 6'3",
Mhm.
195. And this is why I say he's more of a George Pickens esque.
Mhm.
George Pickens coming out of Georgia, and he's bulked up a little bit coming being in the NFL. But that was about George Pickens' build, 6'3", 6'4", 195-ish, and he was slender. So yes, he had the elite body control, but he got pushed around a bit if you got a little physical with him. But he is only 20. He will be only 21 at the start of the NFL season. So there is so much room to grow. I think he has a high floor to be a wide receiver two and could be developed to be a wide receiver one. Most pro ready receiver in the class. I think
Mhm.
you could even say safest wide receiver after the tier break, honestly, at that 105-ish area.
Mhm.
What do you think about Carnell Tate from Ohio State?
Yeah.
SC?
He's my wide receiver two in this class. I have it with the Gohan comp right here because you talk about Goku being most powerful, but Gohan low key is pretty solid, right? And you think about Heartline's leaving Ohio State, Heartline's going to University of South Florida, so this technically is the last Heartline wide receiver to come out of Ohio State. Granted,
Mhm.
Jeremiah Smith was there, but he's got a different OC or different wide receiver coach next year as well. So you're going to have a different opportunity here for guys to develop. So Tate's gonna be something special. He's someone that is a physical wide receiver. As you mentioned, the burners aren't there, but he can get it. What he needed to do this year was improve his route running, and that's exactly what he did. He was able to get his cuts deep. He was able to get between the field. There was a lot of plays where you see him make his post route just at the very end, and the Julian Saiyan, phenomenal quarterback as well, made the plays right when he did that and made it happen. He's someone that's going to go up there. He's going to win the contested catches. He's going to win deep. And shout out our guy Rocco here because I think the Saints need to take a shot on someone like Carnell Tate because
Agreed.
someone that can be opposite of Chris Olave. Olave is not a field stretcher. He's someone that's a technician, can win underneath, can win in the slot, do those things. Let Tate go out there, stretch the field, get the safeties off of the middle of the field, push them back, and guess what? If you need to throw deep, Tate's gonna go up there and grab it as well. If not, he can make the guys miss with his improvement in route running as well. Morris Harrison or Tate for Dynasty. Uh,
Mm.
man, I just
Are you still on Marvin Harrison Jr. right now? Or have you hopped off the train yet?
nah, I'd buy low on him right now. I think you can. I think the problem is Kyler Murray, not Marvin Harrison, right? So yeah, I think you want to hope they get another quarterback. If we're
As
the,
prospects coming out of Ohio State,
as
did you
prospect
have
Harrison for
okay?
sure. As a Harrison for sure. I would take Jeremiah Smith over both of them though. But this is something where Tate Tate is gonna flourish. He can be he can be the T Higgins of a team. He could be the solid wide receiver too, but he could also step up and be that one of a team and be your Jamar Chase as well, right? So he's really someone that could really be your true alpha. I think he's the one out of the class that could potentially be the true alpha of a team. with excuse me, without any hesitation. But
Mhm.
I also think he could go somewhere and complement someone like Olave and take that back seat, but still be productive. So now you have Olave and Tate doing work there as well. He's someone that I think 106, I think is a great spot. I think that's where people can start taking him. I would take him earlier, if I had the picks there, because I do think again the last era from Heartline is coming out right now. Granted, we'll see what he does at UCF and with wide receivers come out from there, but this is the last era of the Ohio State Heartline wide receivers. And I'm gonna take that what I can because we know they're all first round picks. We know they're all pretty solid. Even if Marvin Harrison didn't do his thing, you can still go out there and get it because Marvin Harrison is going to develop there as well.
And Julian, or fan crib with the
There
on
you go.
pun. Julian Super Saiyan, gotta
Yes,
love it,
sir.
man. Uh-huh.
What I like about Carnell Tate is out of these guys we just talked about, he's the most prototypical type of X receiver.
Mm,
He played 90% out wide in 2025. Uh, 3.54 yards per route run. So basically, every time he's running a route, he's doing something. 12 out of 14 contested catches. Um, and man, that play, that jump ball against Wisconsin in double coverage,
mm,
that was pretty awesome. That's
Yeah.
probably his signature play on the year. So yeah, I can see him in New Orleans as SC was saying. He brings a little different flavor than what we got. We got the route runner to all levels with Olave. Um, I like Valet as a tertiary receiver. I think he's good in contested situations. A good a good possession guy, but we don't really have the guy that's going to run those go routes and win in contested situations. So yeah, I think I like him. I think Lemon's better, so I would probably go Lemon. But from a roster construction
mm,
uh, viewpoint, yeah, I think Carnell Tate is like the type of wide receiver we're missing. So good call out on that one.
I've been flipping a little bit back and forth between, and I might end up going back to Carnell. I really had, it comes back down to like ice cream. What kind of wide receiver you do prefer, right?
mm,
I love Carnell Tate, and it goes back to those landing spots of where he does go to, and him being one of the younger wide receivers in the drafts. If he
mm.
goes to a New York Giants, I would to go to a
That's funny.
Jackson Dart. If he go to we got to see what happens with the Pittsburgh Steelers because they do need wide receiver help. But let's say if he does go to the Commanders because they do need wide receiver help, that's another team. He's a different body type than Terry McLaurin. He's a different
Mm,
body type than Debo. And then honestly, I don't think they have any body type like a Carnell Tate.
right.
And he comes in and will be better than majority of the wide receivers on your team.
Mm,
A big body, wide receiver, route runner, and he'll go up and get it. What's not to like about Tate, right?
agreed.
Jamie says Jeremiah Smith has to instantly be considered top 5 wide receiver in Dynasty as a rookie. Instantly, he could. I mean, I don't want to.
Yep.
It's almost like when people threw Ashton Genty automatically in the top 5, and that totally blew up in our faces, right? So I'm a little skeptical of putting guys before they even play an NFL down in the top 5 of anything.
I'll say this because I'm on record saying it anyways in other shows. I would trade Justin Jefferson for Jeremiah Smith straight up. I think that's how good this prospect is. Jeremiah Smith is something special from a high school level to what he's doing at Ohio State. Now, granted, again, we'll see what he does without Heartline this year, right? We're gonna see what's really happening. But this kid's special, and I think he could easily be considered a like a top 5. You're looking at the top range with Jets and with Chase there, I think.
That was a hot take coming into the season, but he's a little tarnished. Would you take Jeremiah Smith over Jamar Chase?
Yeah, I think
Every
you might
man,
want to get something more, right? Because of Jamar Chase, I like he's a little bit more physical than what Jets is, so you can get a little bit more out of him. But I mean, if you add a little something more, yeah. Jeremiah Smith. Whenever someone's sending me Jeremiah Smith, I'm automatically considering, damn, should I smash this? But I think Jamar Chase, you'd want a little bit more, right? So,
Puka?
and Puka, yeah, I like Smith a lot
yes,
more.
I think people need to understand when Jamar Chase was in college, the prospect that he was, I don't think we're going to see, and Jeremiah Smith is going to be the testament of that. We won't see another prospect like a Jamar Chase. Like now we're seeing we might see it with Jeremiah Smith, but what we saw from Jamar Chase at LSU
Hmm.
was crazy. It beats any type of season that Odell put up. It puts any type of season Julio Jones had at Alabama, Calvin Johnson, like Jamar Chase, and he was doing it at 6 foot 200. Jamar Chase is a running back playing wide receiver,
Hmm.
and is one of the best wide receivers. I can't hype
And,
enough. I can't hype college Jamar Chase enough of the prospect that he was.
and he missed his entire final season of college and still was drafted in the first round. Like it's, I mean, he put his tape on before his final season. He said, "I don't need to put anything more on. I'm sitting this out, and I know where I'm at. Take me if you want." And Penguin said, "Well, it was probably Burrow that said we gotta go get this guy." But either way, yeah, I agree. Jamar Chase, that's where I'll cut the line because I want a little bit more. But I do love Jeremiah Smith. Now, ask me again draft season next season because then I might be like, all right, I'll do it straight up. But yeah, I think Jamar Chase is at that level. We'll see what happens with Burrow too. He's going through some stuff. So
Right. And you know what? Since hit my mic on accident, let's end the show on your favorite player that you wanted to discuss tonight.
yes, sir.
Denzel Boston, Washington
Let's
wide
go.
receiver. Some might not know about his game. SC, can you inform and
Yeah.
let people know about why this man is your favorite and why he is a dog?
So first of all, I'm an Oregon fan, so I don't like that he's from Washington. But other than that, this kid's an absolute animal. He's my Piccolo, right? A lot of people, when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, Piccolo's a monster, and you never talk about him. You talk about your Vegetas, you talk about Frieza, you talk about Goku. You don't talk about Piccolo. Guess what? The guy that's gonna come out here and do work the most is probably Denzel Boston. Why? He has the best concentration in the class. This guy's up in the air for like 5 seconds, like Air Jordan, and he's coming down with the ball. And guess what? During those 5 seconds, he's maneuvering all he needs to with his hips, with what he's doing to bring the ball down and make those big plays happen. He is someone that is doing great, phenomenal things, and I think he's gonna be a league winner. He's a guy that I think could potentially be the BTJ of this draft. I say that because in rookie drafts, I took BTJ late round. And this is a guy that I think slip into the late round of your first. I have in
Mhm.
my top six, but I think he's gonna slip to the late round. And guess what BTJ did his rookie year? He led them, right? He was one of the top ones with the touchdowns, right? Malik Neighbors probably would have been if he didn't get hurt. But you had BTJ go in there. Granted, BTJ didn't have the year this year, but Denzel Boston is that same type of player, same type of build, same type of field stretcher, same guy that has the prototypical X wide receiver size in there. He has good routes. He has, again, the concentration, has reliable hands. He's going to be a quarterback's favorite weapon when he gets to that next level, and he's gonna be bringing the ball down. His reception rate's gonna go through the roof. He's gonna be a PPR monster. He's gonna be someone that gets might not be the yak because he's not as fluid as your Makai Lemons, maybe as your Jordan Tysons, but
Mhm.
he's gonna be getting 50-yard receptions, big play receptions, and making those big booms for you. So I absolutely love him, and I think this is the wide receiver that if you're in those late first, you have to smash the pick when you get to him because he's gonna be the guy that could be potentially the wide receiver one when it's all said and done in the class, as far as what they do their first year in the rookie NFL season.
Compared to coming out as prospects out of Washington, how do you compare Denzel Boston to a Roma Dunze, to a Jalen McMillan, a Jalen Polk?
Mm-hmm. Odunze is a lot more fluid. So if you want someone that could do a lot more with his routes and stuff, you want Odunze. I like Denzel more than McMillan though. McMillan was also someone that's banged up at Washington here and there, but he's someone that again is the concentration, man. If you go up there and watch what he's doing when the ball's thrown his way and how he's looking for the ball, how he's adjusting his hips, how he's doing things to get the ball and bring it down, that's why I love him, my wide receivers, and that's something that he does fantastic. He's not necessarily winning at the line of scrimmage. He's not necessarily gonna be a burner, but because he has the size to go out there and make those big plays, that's where he's gonna win. And again, the reliability is there. Now, if I'm ranking them, I gotta give the slight edge to Odunze just because again, Odunze is a little bit more fluid. I think you can move Odunze around. You can put him in the slot, you can put him outside. Where Denzel Boston, I don't necessarily see that. If he goes into the slot, sure, but he's gonna win as the X and be that big guy out there as well. So I would have Odunze slightly over him, but just barely. But he's definitely the two there. Odunze, I know didn't have the greatest year. He had banged up with injuries. It's also a crowded room in Chicago, but I think Denzel Boston is someone that's gonna be something really special in the NFL. Something that we're gonna love to see for years to come.
And to talk about how more special Denzel Boston is, this man is 6'4", and he earned honorable mention All Big Ten return specialist. What at 6'4",
Mhm.
the last big guy I've seen get that type of accolade is Dez Bryant when he was at Oklahoma State for being a big guy and doing punt returns.
Mhm.
That is a great. It's a crazy feat for a 6'4", almost basically 210 receiver. What
Mhm.
I like about Denzel Boston, and he's another guy that's going to be considered in that late round, first
Mhm.
round to second round. So picks 20 to 50 range. I think in dynasty rookie drafts, he's SC hit this right on the head. 108 to 112 is that range, kind of where we saw Amika Ibuka, where we saw the Matthew Goldens. And
Mhm.
I think Boston is a better prospect than Matthew Golden.
For
Not
sure.
going to say Amika Ibuka. I think they are right on par with each other.
Mhm.
What I do like, or where I would like to see Denzel Boston go, since they are having boundary wide receiver issues, outside receiver issues, is a Buffalo Bills,
Mhm.
where what they want Keon Coleman to be, that's what
That's
I think.
perfect.
I think that's what Denzel Boston could end up being, where he's wide receiver two with Spike wide receiver one type potential. His strength, size, contested catches, 22 and excuse me, 22 only had 5 drops over 2 years. Physicality through press, red zone dominance. He has awareness
Mhm.
and trustworthy hands. Concerns, he doesn't have elite athleticism for a
Mhm.
surefire first round pick. And he's not the elite yak specialist, but that doesn't need to be his game for me. I think where for him, he will go up and get the ball. He
Mhm.
will set your honestly, he could be your quarterback's best friend. Yeah,
Right.
he's not the sexiest pick. I won't say he's the sexiest wide receiver, the wow, but
Agreed.
he gets the job done.
Agreed.
Almost like I won't say he's Mike Evans because he doesn't carry the same weight as a Mike Evans, but a lot of people will say Mike Evans isn't a yak guy, but we've seen Mike Evans rip off with some long touchdowns. So I do like me some Denzel Boston, and he will end up being one of those sleeper guys where you were like, "Damn, I wish I would have selected Boston a little bit more." Especially for true living, even looking back now, with some people selecting Matthew Golden at that tail end of the first round, he didn't
Mhm.
really do you much, right? But
Right.
if you went ahead and got yourself an Amika Buka who started off the season nice, kind of teared off at the end of the season, but it's same type of scenario where Denzel Boston could end up once again. He was third team All Big Ten wide receiver. He was a Big Ten. Even he's smart as hell.
Mhm.
Big Ten All Academic team. He had 88.2 overall grade, 11th among wide receivers, 87.1 PFF receiving grade, 21st among receivers. He was co-offensive player of the week for the Big
Mhm.
Ten, and then he was Washington's offensive skill player of the year. Denzel Boston should definitely be on your radar. And
Mhm.
I know we, I know me personally, I get a little worried about those bigger wide receivers because they don't fare well when it comes to being able to get in and out of their breaks, being
Mhm.
able to use their size. A lot of times we say Quentin Johnson is one of those guys that come to me, and I know he's
Yeah.
done better throughout the seasons or as he's coming along, but he was one of those guys where, like, yeah, he's big, but he
Right.
doesn't play up to his size. Denzel Boston plays up to that 6'4" size.
And what I said about Cardinal Tate earlier, where Cardinal Tate had to improve his route running, that's where we need to see that development in Denzel Boston as well. Because if he gets that, if he fine tunes that area of his game, this is a guy that's gonna be a monster, man. Again, the concentration is real big. Go watch what he's doing when the ball's thrown his way because he is just a smart player to understand what he needs to do, adjusting his hips, adjusting his hands, or moving his hands. He's gonna gain the separation just by his wingspan there, and
Mm.
that's gonna be something you love, and he's gonna be bringing it down again. Not the yak guy like you mentioned, but just someone that's just reliable, man. He's gonna be catching 70, 80% of his passes, man.
And we did not, Jamie, talk about Brazil or Concepcion. It was more of the top six, and I wouldn't. I would actually have the four wide receivers we did talk about. I would have those guys over
Hmm.
Brazil. I know he was cool at Tennessee as a deep guy. I think he will be a better pro if he goes to the right system. I would think a little bit of Martavius Bryant before he went off the rails. I could
Yeah.
see that from Brazil, and then
Okay.
Concepcion. He's another guy that has potential. I think will be a better pro as well. He gives me some Khalil Shakir to his game,
Mhm.
but I will still have those four other guys definitely over him. I
Yeah.
think Concepcion is going to have to be a slot guy in the NFL.
Yeah, Concepcion, I need to watch more tape on him. I've seen some, but it's just like I'm not sold on him as much as other people are. Some people have him as like early day two stuff like that. I don't know. We'll have to see what I see more when I watch more of his tape. But he's fast, and people love that. So
Jamie says, so with all my 112 picks, I'm targeting Boston.
yeah.
Hey, as you should.
If
And once
you
again, if he
if he
goes,
goes in the first round, you won't get him at 112. I can tell you. I can tell you that
True.
much. He's going to be steamed up, and from what I'm reading, it looks like he's going to be like a late first rounder. So if he goes in the first round, good luck getting him at the 1.12. He's probably a guy that people will start looking at somewhat after Chambliss goes off the board.
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not going for at least for Boston. I don't think he's going to be a elite tester, so that's not going to move him up or down. But I think where people are going to fall in love with him, one, he's just a football player.
Hmm.
You throw him out there, he's going to do the job that you tell him to do, and he's a capable blocker. He will but as we saw from the Washington with Jonah Coleman, you have to block for him, right?
Hmm.
They want their wide receivers to get down and dirty, and he did that quite fairly well for them. So I
Think
like him for
like
Boston.
I'm not. Let's say throw this as contest. Think about what you said, not like an elite tester. Think of like a DeAndre Hopkins type of guy that goes after the ball and gets it right. Like he's DeAndre Hopkins ran like a 4.5, 4.6,
Yeah,
but he has some of the best hands that we've seen. I think that's what Denzel Boston's gonna be. And again, the right coach is gonna utilize that and say, okay, this is a guy that's gonna be doing it. Nah, I wouldn't compare Cedric. I would say Brazel's more like a Cedric Tillman than Boston is.
mm,
Tillman's just Tillman, man. I don't. He has his games, but I think Boston's got more bigger games than what it is.
yeah. I say Boston is the value play in the late first round with the prototypical size, and we'll go through our six actually as we winding down. It was a
Hmm.
wonderful, once again, it was a wonderful show by SC. Shout out to you for coming on and giving us that wonderful rookie goodness. And we're going to need a lot more of that before we start kicking off these rookie drafts. But we had to start off Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. Then we went to Fernando Mendoza, quarterback from Indiana. We spoke about Makai Lemon, USC wide receiver. We talked about Carnell Tate, Ohio State wide receiver. We talked about Jordan Tyson, Arizona State wide receiver. And to end off, we talked about the good Denzel Boston out of Washington. It was an amazing show. So once again, shout out to SC. Before we get up out of here, S, do you have anything for the audience? Where can they find your content this wonderful off season?
Yeah, man. So me and my guy Spencer at Buckwald Sports on X for him. I'm at the PPR store on X. We've been working things behind the scenes, so we took a couple 2 months off here. We got our first show coming up at the end of the month here. Debbie plans coming back for y'all, where we're gonna talk about the transfer portal and really the truth about it. But find us at the Fantasy Football Universe on YouTube. You know, you can follow the FF Universe on X as well. But that's where all our shows are for the Debbie Planet. All we do is talk Debbie. We hop on shows with y'all, you know, guys that y'all talk to rookies as they're now no longer necessarily Devi guys as they're now moving to the NFL level, right? So we're here to talk all college ball for y'all. And again, we're talking about them since they're high school athletes, man. So we'll be getting into that 2027, 2028 rookie class, I guess you say, with Booby Feaster and, you know, Dia Bell and Fajon, you know. So we'll be talking about all those guys, but we're going to hit the transfer portal for us. But yeah, at the PPR show on X and Devi Planet on YouTube under the Fantasy Football Universe YouTube channel.
Hell yeah, and tap in with our boy SC some more, man. He gives great detail and great context to these used to be Debbie
Appreciate that.
players now going into the NFL. And honestly, with Debbie becoming more of a format that people are getting hyped up on and getting more familiar with, I think the good peoples like SC, the good people like Bucky, the good people like at Debbie Dojo, all the ones that actually put in the work to give out the info needed to be able to be better select rookies for your rookie drafts. Thank y'all for always putting in that good work for the good people out there. What y'all
Appreciate that,
do
man.
does not go unnoticed. So shout out to all y'all, what y'all do for the community.
Yeah, the
Appreciate
beautiful thing is you've been scouting these guys throughout the whole process before they even made it to college. I'm sitting here trying to cram in all of the tape, all the analytics.
it.
I'm trying to cram all of that shit in before my rookie drafts. When all I have to do is holler at a guy like SC Romero because he knows these guys, better than I know my NFL players. So shout out to you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. I just want to say, just because you said that, man, this is where you take advantage of your rookie, of your dynasty leagues, because people start watching it this season. Look at this past season production. Nicholas Singleton, this is a guy that had a horrible year, but don't just look at this year, man. Like these guys, just like NFL, like you talk about Pickens and what he's done now, he blew up.
Yo,
These are guys you have to be watching every year of them because bad years happen. We have bad years as just human beings, right? So bad years happen. It happened to be a senior year for this guy, but I mean, you gotta watch everything about him. But no, I appreciate y'all, man. The show with Dynasty Sicko is an honor to be here. My first show of 2026, man. Wouldn't have it any other way. Maybe not with the Cowboy, but I still appreciate you, man. Being here, and just having me on, man. Definitely a fun show, and I'm excited to come back when y'all need me.
100%. And as we get out of here, remember, we are your fantasy playbook to more championship wins. And Rocco, where are we the land of?
We are a fantasy football podcast for Dynasty Sickos by Dynasty Sickos. Debbie's welcome.
Any Debbie is welcome. And remember, you can win a free NFL jersey by being the number one ranker on League Champ. We're still got more playoff time to go, baby. Austin from Dynasty Gambit won it this past week, winning his first championship. Join in on the fun. Maybe you
Uh oh. I, I, I
Yep.
think we had abort.
That was the
I
You
time.
gotta go
lost
to the
connection.
champ ad.
I lost connection. But